I believe in you. Just lay down, get comfortable, stretch, roll around. Hold on a second. Hey everybody, welcome to Street Fight Radio. We're taking your calls tonight. It's that time of the week, Sunday night Street Fight, and we're late for work once again. But don't worry, we want to hear from you. 614-655-3887. That's the number to get a hold of us. We're here for the next 3 hours until midnight. We're on WCRS LP-FM in Columbus, Ohio as well. You can find more content at WCRSFM.org. My name is Brett. My co-host is Brian. We're Street Fight Radio. We've been doing this now for 10 years, and we won't stop. Don't stop. We're going to keep spreading this mess across the U.S. until everything changes. And we're happy that you found us or just started or even listening forever, whatever it is. We love to hear from you. We're moving into Shocktober, also Spooky Movie Month. It's good time for me and good time for listeners. I'm rambling at this point. But head over to patreon.com/streetfightradio for Shocktober Volume 3 that's coming up. And you can listen to the old ones too if you sign up today. We can be found on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. And then you can also find us wherever fine podcasts are casted. How's it going, Brian?
Great. How are you?
All right. Ready to take the calls.
Charlotte's walking back and forth behind you like in an Austin Powers movie. She should do the steps.
She came into my ear and said, "I'm thirsty and I can't sleep," and then the music started.
Yeah, I was watching that. I was about see if the music had not started, I would have brought us in. But it came to a point where it was like, okay. I can't really tell Brett that I'm here for him, you know? So I don't know. We're here. Everything's going. We're all feeling good. Uh-oh. Somebody says I can't hear.
What's
going on? Can
the
people
show?
hear? Yeah, the show.
Can
Is
you
everybody
hear?
good? I mean, Bidasena is slacking off at a Chili's to watch the show. So, hey, if you're watching the show at a Chili's, I mean, that's really where this show was supposed to be watched, is at a Chili's. You know, I can talk to everybody, Brett, if you have to handle some situation. I'll sit here and talk to the chat. Maybe you can just plop a phone down and I can talk to them. And, you know, we're all parents here. We all got to deal with parenting stuff.
Yeah, give me a minute. I'm gonna go lay down with her for just a minute and
Plop
force her
a
to go to
phone
bed.
down. Plop one of the phones down.
What do you mean?
Is there a phone call?
Yeah,
Take a phone call.
take
and
a
then
phone
go.
call. Okay.
Yeah, I'll bring up the thing so I can hang up on them if they're rude.
Okay. Here you go.
Thank you for calling Street Fight. Who we talking to tonight?
Thank you for that.
Who's doing my Brett Payne banner with
Hello?
me? Hey, what's up? Who's this? Hello?
Hey, this is Nova. My pronouns are he and his.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Hello? You got me?
I'm here. I just missed the second part of it. I think you were given your name and pronouns.
Okay, cool.
P-nouns.
Yeah, there we go. I turned off my speakerphone, so hopefully that's working better.
Okay.
All right,
What's up?
pronouns are he and him.
Oh, what's up?
Hey, wanted to call in. Love the show. I've been a Patreon supporter. I wanted to go to the Columbus show, but I didn't want to take the risk because of COVID and shit. So,
How dare you?
anyway, I got
You
a story
have
for
to
you
take the risk.
about anarcho-communism. I know, but like I got a kid too, so and she can't get
No, I'm kidding.
vaccinated yet,
I'm kidding.
so.
I'm kidding. You don't have to take the risk. We
I'll tell
didn't
you,
expect the people.
as soon as they have it for kids.
How old's your kid?
She's 7.
7. Okay. All right. Yeah. You don't want to mess around with that kind of thing. So I get it. I understand. It was we didn't have microphones at that show, so maybe it is better just to wait until we get back out after kids can get vaccinated. Because once Brett's kid can get vaccinated, I'm just gonna go out and roll around in COVID. Really, to tell you the truth, I'll be standing on stage just screaming and letting people spit in my mouth.
Yeah, I tell you what I want to do is when the AEW comes, when you guys go back to watching AEW on Wednesdays, I want to get back to that.
Oh yeah, I missed that. I don't know if that's ever going to happen again because we like getting off work on time, and not on time. There is no on time, but with the AEW thing, basically what it meant was we went to the bar till 10, drove to the studio, and then we had to book a whole other night through the week to book bonus content for the Patreon. So once that was over because of the pandemic, we were like, we can do the Patreon content on Wednesday before we do Street Fight. And then boom, that's an extra night off. So laziness. It's all laziness, really. But I mean, if anything, I would like to do pay-per-views with people. So we'll make that happen.
That'd be cool.
So you called about anarcho-communism?
So, in the military, where you wouldn't really expect to find it.
Okay, what happened?
I don't know,
what was it?
Seen on... Okay, so I don't know if you've seen on Twitter where people talk about how, it's going to be hard to find people to do, food service work after the revolution or, whatever better world we hopefully eventually build. How, people don't want to be, bartenders and shit like that. Because it's work that generally that kind of work sucks. When I was in Korea, we had these things for each unit on base that was called the hooch. And so, the medical group had a squadron hooch. All the fighter squadrons had their squadron hooch. It was a name for, the on-base bar. I know it's also the name for booze, but we just called it, it was the name for the base bar, basically. And I was in civil engineering, and so we did stuff like structure building, power generators, plumbing, carpentry, things like that. And the way that each hooch for each unit was staffed is that group would work out a rotation where different sections within the squadron would take turns each night on a schedule working in the hooch, and then they'd be selling beer and liquor to the rest of the group. So, one night you'd have the plumbers working, the other night you'd have HVAC doing it, the other night you'd have electricians doing it. And it worked out great because nobody was going to be an asshole to you while you were doing it, because they're going to be worried about someone being an asshole to them when they're the ones who are behind the bar. And, also you're doing it with, the people you work with all the time. So, you're out there. It's just another way to kind of have a good time with your coworkers. And, you're all stuck in Korea together too. So we had, the drinks were really cheap there because we didn't have any kind of profit motive. So we didn't have a reason to mark things up. We'd buy stuff in bulk from the base store and then just sell it at cost, basically. We had music, dartboards, pool tables, tables for spades and hearts and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun. It was a volunteer thing. They didn't tell anybody. They didn't ever said, hey, you got to be a bartender tonight. There was still no trouble ever finding volunteers because it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it didn't stink. It wasn't terrible and people weren't dicks to you. It was just kind of so nobody was forced to do it, right? It was just tonight plumbers are serving drinks. Did anybody know how to bartend? Was it just beer?
We weren't getting fancy with it, but like I could, you could make a screwdriver or like a rum and coke or something like that. Like we had,
Okay.
whiskey on stock, we had rum, we had vodka, all that stuff. So, we're not like making
So-
anything real crazy and fancy, but we were having, just, decent mixed drink or whatever.
So are you thinking like, let me ask you this, because this is an interesting thought experiment for me to go with here. So we're thinking like we still have restaurants and bars. We have all that stuff that exists now. Maybe we have 24-hour grocery stores again. God fucking forbid. That would be great. But basically the way that they're staffed is you do a 4-day work week at your real gig and then a 1-day work week at one of those places. And then we just keep fucking rotating out. So, but also, now don't get mad at me, chat, because I'm going to say this real quick. I'm not talking about like you have to have a gig. I don't mean that. But we've said on this show a million times, like we're going to need people to do plumber stuff. I think it's a good idea to say, hey, nobody is just a fast food worker. I like that idea. I do actually think that's a good idea. We need to get the hours down. I was just thinking in terms of how things are now. The hours, I'd have to cut them way down, like, 20-hour work week, and then boom, you get one night, you got to go work at the damn McDonald's. But like, there's always people filtering in to those jobs. I kind of think that could work if everybody got if everybody got the job they wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like if I'm miserable like I was at the cable company, right? And I work 4 days and then I got to go into McDonald's for 1 day, I would not like that. I would be miserable. But if somebody came to me now, Murder X Brian, Street Fight Radio, and they said, Brian, you gotta fucking work at the McDonald's tonight, I would do it. I'd be fine with that. Who wouldn't even care,
Yeah. Well, I've got like my job, because I've got one of those, bullshit white collar work from home office jobs. And honestly, like for real, actual time spent working, it's like maybe a solid 8 hours a week, but it's like spread out over the course of the day. So I could do something where I'm doing what I do now, and like it's something where like I work on stuff when it comes in to be worked on. So like I could have a notification come to my phone or something. I've got something I've got to get back to. And then I could do that and then do something else the rest of the time. Like I'm walking distance from the Meijer I go to all the time. I would be perfectly happy, going there and just putting boxes on shelves and just like stocking, the food up there, just killing time doing that until something else comes in that I got to work on for like the technical job I've got.
I would love that.
We
love this idea.
Well, because so much of our jobs is tied to, like, our identity gets tied to our job. Like, one person's a nurse and another person's a doctor and another person's, garbage man and another person's a podcaster or whatever. But, like, our identity then comes from what the job is. And we should just have our identity be our identity. And if we're able to kind of, like, that, then that way we'd have, I think it would be a little easier to not get pigeonholed having your identity be your job, but then having your own identity instead, because you're not just stuck doing one thing all the time.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I would have liked too. Like when I was working for a living at a real job, like would have been really nice to have that kind of variance and what I did, because I think you're right in that, like, doing the same thing every day is shitty. Like, there's no way to get around it. When I podcast 5 days in a row, by day 5, I'm like, I fucking hate podcasting. There's just nothing out there that you can do 5 days in a row and still enjoy it for work. So I like this idea. It's kind of like a spin the wheel, make the deal, if I could use an old WCW phrase, but for jobs. And like, you're just like, bro, I'm at fucking Wendy's today, but then tomorrow I am a plumber's apprentice. And then, like that.
Yeah, I'm back. I mean, if we're painting best ideas, I mean, I think that the fast food should just be nationalized, and you have to put skin in the game to reap the benefits. Like, there's no money accepted at McDonald's anymore. You have to have like your fast food workers card to show, like, you have to have a punch on your card that you worked one shift a month at a fast food place or something.
That's tight.
Because like I'm for the people that are worried about child abuse on Twitter. I make McDonald's at home, and I make Taco Bell at home, and make my kid eat my version of it. So I would not mind on a day when she's not around going and earning some points so I could go get the real thing.
It's a good point. Well, the caller was saying that in the military, like, they have a bar, Brett, where like everybody takes a night at the bar. So like the plumbers are running the bar one night, and then the engineers are running.
Yeah.
But I like that. I mean, I like the idea.
I don't even know if it's still in Korea, because I was there years ago, but yeah.
I mean, whenever we're talking about labor without money and being involved in exploiting people, I think we're having a better conversation, because like, we said on the show forever, people are putting in 8 to 10 hours, at some of these these white collar jobs. And we can't be honest. We can't say like, hey, you pay me like $75,000 a year. I work for 6 hours a week. Can I please just have my other 34 back? And I'll do some community service, like working at an Arby's.
Yeah. I would love to do. We've said this before, dude, that like, I would go back to working in a restaurant if I didn't have to do it every day and depend on my survival depends on it.
It would be novel. Do you know how good I would be at customer service if I did it once a month or once a week, and I came in and we're like, oh shit, you're about to tear it up. Yeah, let's get you the best, freshest. I would just be so into it.
I know.
Like, you can't be wore down if it isn't like grading, if it isn't like causing you turmoil all the fucking time.
Me and Katie were actually talking about it this weekend, about how like working at a pizza place was the most fun I've ever had at a job in my life. Like, I worked at 2 different pizza places, and they were the most fun you could ever have at work, but it's fucking grueling. We're talking about it because the Donato's Pizza, which is a big chain in this part of the country, has a sign that says, why not get paid to have fun outside, right? And I see that every day when I walk by it, and I kind of snicker a little bit at it. But to tell you the truth, dude, I had so much fun working at Angie's Pizza and when I worked at Chuck E. Cheese. Like, the people that are attracted to working at a pizza place are fun. It's just fun people. But it wears you down having to work every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday till 2:00 in the morning. It's like those places don't close.
Yeah.
And also knowing that you spent 8 hours at a place that didn't pay you enough to live. Yeah. You're not like, it's a waste of time being there because you're not making enough money to have any sort of a life.
Yeah. We used to work at this fucking pizza place, dude, and we would be throwing food at each other and shit and fucking schoolboying each other, like where you get down on your hands and knees behind somebody and then walk towards them and then they trip over your back. We would feed tokens to the geese out back at the Chuck E. Cheese. Like, it was fucking crazy the shit you could do. And the manager was always right there goofing off with you. The manager didn't yell at you. Every once in a while at a pizza place, the only thing that happens to you at a pizza place is every fucking night, at one point, the manager's like, hey, you guys need to shut up. The customers can hear you. That was the only problem. It was like, you need to shut up because the customers can hear you, or turn the fucking radio down, or why is every other word out of the radio fuck?
That's how the pizzas get made.
They used to do that. Oh, at Chuck E. Cheese, Brett.
Yep.
I gotta tell you, dude. I would put in, these fucking guys would listen to Stone Temple Pilots all day. They would listen to Stone Temple Pilots. They'd listen to Pearl Jam. That was their shit. 7 Mary 3 or something, right? So when I finally got stationed in the kitchen, I'm bringing in Korn. I'm listening to motherfucking Korn, right? And my manager, the same guy that plays STP and Green Day and shit, comes in and yells at me and says, this is a kid's restaurant. And like, I got in trouble for playing Korn, and it was just like, they're not in the fucking kitchen. And how would the kids hear it? There's a goddamn fucking sound system out there playing the Hokey Pokey or whatever's on there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Hated that guy. God. Yeah. Slipknot is good pizza making music. For sure.
Donuts was fun too. Donuts was the best atmosphere. If we were all in line and like the Notorious B.I.G. Pandora station was really rocking,
Yeah.
then everybody was like cutting up and putting shit out that they liked, and that felt good. But that didn't that happened like once once a month. Like I said, you have enough in you to have one good shift a month if you're doing that job.
Yeah, I one time at the pizza
There's
shop,
a leftist donut place in town here.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if you guys know about it, but there's a leftist donut place here in town.
Oh, the one up in Hilliard. Yeah, I know. I've been there.
Yep. Yeah.
What is it?
But I forget what it's called. I'll get it to you, Brett.
The little donut shop?
No, it's up in Hilliard. It's
how is it in Hilliard?
We know the guy. We know the guy. I think he listens to the show.
Okay.
So we know him. But
I never go to Hilliard.
But the guy, the funniest pizza shop thing we did was we had $50, right? Like, we all put $50 together, and we grabbed one of the little cups they give you for water, like this big, and we squeezed all the oil out of the anchovies into the cup.
Yes.
And this fucking guy, and it was a lot, Brett. It 3/4 of the way filled the cup, right? And this fucking guy was like, I'll fucking do anything for $50. That's bullshit. $50. Yeah, fucking give it to me. And we're like, drink this and you get the $50. He fucking drank it. And then he had to deliver pizzas for the rest of the night. And he threw up like 3 times, almost got into a car accident because he felt like he was going to pass out. And then 2 days later, I went to his house and talked to him, and he was like, I wish I didn't do that for $50. It was the greatest thing.
Hank Snowday in the chat said they played at a game at the coffee shop where you play one song on repeat until a customer says something, and they listened to Train in Vain by The Clash for 3.5 hours.
I love that. We used to do that at the Dairy Queen with the jukebox.
Yeah.
Until they came out and unplugged it. We would be like just sitting there listening to Paradise by the Dashboard Light until somebody came out and unplugged it.
Yeah, I mean, once you get to like 2 hours in too, you're like completely delirious. Like, you're just like, stand by me. Like, you're so into it and waiting for it to start again. Like, you're just lost.
Yeah. We used to also do that at the pool hall I hung out at. There was a jukebox, and we begged them to put Korn on there. And they finally put Korn on there, but then they wouldn't let you play certain songs because they had cusses in them. But like the song Daddy has a hidden track on it, which makes the song 52 minutes long, and he cries for like 9 minutes at the end of the song, and we would just play that, and they would get so mad at us. We'd be standing in a pool hall. Jonathan Davis is crying. And people would be so hot because the other stuff you'd hear all day was like Bad Company.
Yeah. That sounds like a good time. Sounds like so much fun for everybody.
Yeah, we just ruined it for everybody.
Yeah, that's fun for everybody.
Well, I mean, I think I like your idea. And I appreciate you calling. Hopefully we see you soon.
Yep. Oh, can I
Peace.
plug my podcast before I get in here?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Go for it.
Cool. Yeah, I got a leftist podcast that I co-host called Hedge Pod. It's HEGEPOD. We're on Twitter, Gmail, all that shit. And what we do is we watch like sitcoms, cartoons, movies, and stuff like that. And we try and like discuss how it reflects or goes against the dominant the ruling class, like going after the cultural hegemony of it. So like if there's a hit show that presents union movements as destructive to business, or if there's another cartoon show showing about like how management can't be trusted, we'll kind of like watch those and talk about that. So
okay,
and,
love
we're
it.
always looking for
Yeah.
always looking for feedback. So
Give them some
it's a lot of
feedback.
fun. So we have some interesting stuff that we talk about. And I'll send you all a link on Twitter and take a look at it.
Nice. Cool. Yeah,
Appreciate it. Have a good
definitely.
one.
Thank you. Thanks for calling.
All right.
Man, I was about to throw a fucking tantrum if he was going to pitch the hedge pod. I was just going to be like, what the fuck are we doing here that people are pitching leftist hedge fund podcast to us now?
That would be cool though.
When he spelled it, I was
podcast.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. We're not Tyler Durden.
If I fucking knew what a hedge fund was, I would like try to make a joke about that. But
Yeah,
I
that
have
would
watched
be
the
neat.
show Billions for like months now.
Uh-huh.
Almost the whole thing, and it's about a hedge fund. Still don't know what they do. They buy stocks, Brett.
Yeah, they manage funds.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, I got to buy these stocks. And you'll be like, oh, okay. Like, I guess go at it, bro. I like it when they ride motorcycles and take ayahuasca in the show. I don't particularly like it when they do the hedge fund stuff.
I don't think hedge funds do much ayahuasca. What's funny though, talking about the fucking with people out of place. I was at Dairy Queen today, and an older gentleman, I'm going to put him in the 30s. Maybe it was 30 exactly. He had on a Cleveland Browns like jersey t-shirt, and a group of teens started heckling him, and they got to him. He started responding.
What did they say to him?
I don't even know there was like 5 or 6 of them, and they were like, your team hasn't won or something in 30 years. Something like they were just yelling out like weird stats at each other, and the guy was trying to stay frozen. And then they said something about the guy's jersey that he was wearing, whoever the team member was. And then the guy was like, we're doing pretty good this year. I guess, and he started yelling how good they were doing this year. He got loud at teenagers because of the shirt, his brown shirt.
You can't do that, man.
No, you never give in.
The chat's mad at me because I said Korn's better than Pearl Jam. Like half of them are like, Pearl Jam's better than Korn, and then the other half are like, Korn's better than Pearl Jam. And I got to tell y'all, I mean, whatever makes you happy is better than Korn. Not much, but whatever makes you happy, better than Korn.
Wow, that's a great stance to take.
So I guess we can talk here for a minute, Brett, since we didn't get to at the beginning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Skating a lot. I got Charlotte some blades, so she's now inline skating with me. I saw Taking Back Sunday on Thursday.
How was that?
With the band Thursday.
How was that?
It was awesome. It was really good. They played a lot of new songs I didn't know, but I like the stuff that they do. And I kind of went hoarse. They were way bigger than I thought.
Yeah. It was outdoors, right?
No,
was it a big one?
They moved it inside because it was
small one then.
Yeah. It was a smaller one. And the weather, and I guess it was, that's why, yeah, because tickets. But yeah, it was it wasn't really popping. there was a little bit of activity. People are still weird about like
Yeah.
laying all over each other and stuff. But they sounded great and I had a good time. It was a lot of fun.
Newfound Glory was there yesterday and it was fucking packed, man.
Yeah, I bet.
Holy macaroni. I didn't even know people still liked Newfound Glory. I guess everybody still likes everything from their whole life, right?
Yeah, there's definitely, I think that instead of calling it a midlife crisis, we just proudly dressed like how we wanted to when we were 17, and like all the stuff when we were 17. I think that's what millennials are doing instead of a midlife crisis. Because we can't really like buy a sports car or anything, but we can like buy a sick shirt that we were too embarrassed to wear to 10th grade,
Oh, I bought a pretty sick shirt today from Sarah Squirm. I don't know if you can still get them, but they're doing pre-orders, and just look her up on Twitter. It's like a Child's Play Chucky t-shirt where it says something really funny on it. It's like hold on, I'll get it up there because it's tie-dyed too. That's what really sold me on it, because I knew that if I bought a tie-dyed shirt, my wife would be impressed with a tie-dyed shirt, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yes.
It's on goodbyepress.com. It says it has Chucky on it, and it said he's small, mean, and weird. And then it says, but hey, Chucky, he's my best friend. And then on the back, it says child's play. This ain't child's play. It's pretty serious business, actually. And then it has like a rainbow, and it says he's one scary little guy. And it's got a knife on the sleeve. You know how I like weapons on the sleeves and stuff like that, but it's tie-dyed.
Yeah. I mean, even better than seeing the shirt is just hearing you read it.
That's true.
That's just it's just like makes it better and really
it's tie-dyed though. I'm really happy about the fact that I bought a tie-dyed shirt. Okay.
Can I shit on tie-dye for a second?
I don't care.
I love it. I think it looks great. It's amazing. But it's also quite hilarious to me how many people are like, I'm really passionate about tie-dye. I'm an artist and I'm really passionate about tie-dye. And that's why I started this Instagram. And it's like, no, it's because anybody can do it. It's not like doing photo realism with oil paints. It's literally something that anybody can do. And it's kind of like photography. There's just so many things that people take on as like, this is what I've always wanted to do my whole life is make tie-dye. And it's like, I don't think so. I think you found out that people will buy a t-shirt for $45 is what you found out.
You know what kind of tie-dye I like? The black shirt, bleach tie-dye.
That's a great way to go.
That's the style, dude. That's not the style of this shirt I bought. This one actually has colors on it, but the black shirt bleach tie-dye, I think, is the hippest looking tie-dye out there. So
yeah, I like it. I mean, I think it's a good look. It's way more like I complain about people's clothes. I want things to be way more louder. So I am not against it. I just think it's like seeing the waves of popularity of things where it changes in this day and age. It's like everybody wants to have a side hustle or be like a small business entrepreneur or do a little Instagram thing, and it always just comes back to like putting paint on a canvas and spinning it around really fast to make like basically a spin art, but that's $100.
Yeah, I like tie-dye stuff though. I'm just a big tie-dye guy.
Tie-dye's great. Always love tie-dye.
Not a tie-dye guy. This is the first time I've ever had a tie-dyed shirt. But like I'm always trying to get people to I'm always trying to impress my wife with like I just have a color on my shirt. She's like, holy moly, look at you, colored shirt.
What if you put up like an adult man shirt on? Like that wasn't just a t-shirt.
Oh no, I'm not gonna do that.
What if you wore something with like a collar on it?
No, no fucking way. I didn't get in this business so I could wear a shirt with a collar on it. That's for sure. No way.
I'm getting real annoyed with my t-shirt collection. I've picked up so many band shirts recently that I'm like ready to just set my whole thing on fire right now. I have to purge a lot.
Yeah, I need to get rid of some t-shirts, but like I'm not going to start wearing collared shirts. There's no way I become a podcaster and then put on a collared shirt. No. Not for the B-man. I was so glad that I got out of having to dress like an adult when I left the cable company that like I was like, I will never dress like an adult again. I will always look like a teenager.
Looking spiffy is a good thing to do. It works. It doesn't have to always be, but you should look nice at least. Like it's like McDonald's once a month.
I got the cowboy shirt. And
How
if I
you-
ever have to go somewhere with the cowboy shirt on, I'll put it on. I just don't do stuff.
Okay.
You know, I hang out. I hang
Couch
out
surf.
at my house and watch TV shows and shit, and like walk and go to. I went to a soccer game today, and I got so annoyed at this lady because every 35 seconds of the soccer game that I was watching, she said, "Kick the ball towards the goal." Yelled it.
Yeah.
Every like 35 seconds. And I was just like, lady, that's what they're trying to fucking do out there. You know, they're fucking 10 years old, number one. And number two, the whole point of soccer is to kick the ball towards the goal. You don't have to tell them to kick the ball towards the goal. And it was relentless, and it was yelling, and it was right behind me. And I just wanted to turn around. Like, why don't you coach, lady? She was yelling at the coach too, mad at the coach, not at the coach of the other team, but of the coach of her kids' team.
See,
yeah, she's like,
they need security.
He didn't tell her, he didn't teach these kids how to get into position when there's a corner kick. He didn't tell them how to get into position. It's like, they wouldn't fucking do it anyway, man. You know, you got a kid, you know, they don't listen to shit. It was crazy.
A lot of them go to those practices and think it's a place to hang out and then find themselves in the middle of a soccer game and we're like, I didn't know we were actually going to do it.
Yeah. She's just screaming at him, man. I couldn't believe it, dude. Kick it towards the goal. Come on. Of course. Is that what they do at crew games? Hey, kick it towards the goal.
Yeah, parents should be banned. I mean, I think loud parents should be. I think you're allowed to be excited for your kid, but there should be somebody there to stop shit like that. Because it's they should be listening to the coach only. You're distracting the whole fucking team. You're ruining their potential for greatness.
Exactly. And just, you know, yelling is too much. You don't have to yell.
You do have to yell at us. You do have to say, "Come on, get the dang ball," and you clap.
Yeah. I think saying kick it towards the goal is almost like saying, like you were watching a baseball game and you said, pitch it over the plate every time the pitcher has the ball in their hand. If they were like, pitch it over the plate, pitch it over the plate. It's like, they're going to do that every single fucking time.
The referee
That's the point.
So it should be the referee. Then the referee should blow the whistle, stop the game, and say, "Ma'am, both teams, do you agree to kick it towards the goal?" They do, man.
Yeah.
So we don't need it anymore.
Yeah, it made me nuts, dude. I never was a yeller at Gwen's games. I mean, like I like to see her do well or whatever. But
I usually just add to the excitement. I am not arrogant enough to give out pointers in the middle of a game that I just showed up for, and I'm like half in the bag.
That's the funny thing too. It's like this lady, I don't know if she's ever played soccer in her life.
She drank enough to believe it.
Yeah, you wonder if they've ever played soccer in their life. Or because I know that Gwen's coach went on her first soccer team had never played soccer in his life. He actually preferred football. He never watched a soccer match on TV. He never saw a soccer match live. He knew nothing about soccer, but he was the only guy that would do it. Because they were like, which one of you guys want to do this? And I was like, I don't know anything about soccer. But so this guy starts doing it. And then the parents would flip out on him because the kids weren't doing like real soccer shit. And
10-year-olds, 11-year-olds.
Yeah, I know. You're fucking telling me you're preaching to the choir, sir. Let's take a call.
All right. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight? It's you.
I think.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's
Hello?
up?
Oh,
We got you.
hey. My name's Chris, and I wanted to call in and talk to you guys about the film industry strike that is potentially on the horizon.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the status? I guess I don't know exactly what's going on,
I guess
to be honest.
Yeah. So before COVID happened, the hours for film are pretty grueling. I mean, it's usually anywhere from like, I don't know, 12 to 16 hours a day. But I guess before COVID, everybody just kind of like normalized it and just didn't really think anything of it. And then when COVID happened, there was no film production for 6 months basically. And everybody like got to spend time with their families and like have a full weekend and stuff. And I don't know, then we all got pulled back into work under the guise of like a safer, healthier set. But what it turned out, they basically just like took our lunch breaks away because it wasn't like COVID safe. And they've been trying to make up for all the lost time from nobody working for 6 months. So the hours have gotten completely out of control. And all these people are like, kind of just thinking about like how they had an opportunity to, have a hobby or like just, sleep.
Do their own projects,
quarantine.
right? Like they got a chance to like maybe,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're working in the film industry, you probably have like a passion for something in that world, and maybe you got to do your own projects or decided to start your own situation. This is the IATSE strike, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? I just like saying that. I letting everybody know I know that union. So like what so you're back, you're not allowed to eat lunch anymore, which is very odd thing to do to people.
But and then also
they do this thing called sorry.
No, I was just going to say, and then also it sounds like they were like, okay, we've been off for 6 months. We have a lot to catch up on, and we want to continue making movies at the same speed as we did before.
Yeah, before the industry was operating at like 70%, we shut down, and now we're at like 130%. I'm Atlanta local, and we just like at our 6 month period, we hit the amount of productions that we did in total the year before at 6 months. So they're just kind of it's just been an insane amount of work. And like I took 2 months off over the summer, and my first day back I worked an 18-hour day, and then the next week I worked Monday through Friday. Each were like 15 to 16-hour long days. And it was just, it's just crazy. I've never it's always been long hours, but it's not been like this before. And so we renegotiate our contracts every 3 years. And this year is like, we were supposed to renegotiate in August, but it's like a bunch of lawyers that represent like Disney and Comcast and all of those people, or corporations, sorry. But they won't even sit down at the negotiation table to like talk with our union reps about how we want to change our contracts and stuff. They're just like, the old contracts are fine. We want to keep things how it is. So now there's a threat of a strike. And I was just thinking that, I don't know if the general public has any idea how like grueling the industry can be. And I had been posting about it on my social medias, and I was getting a ton of responses from people being like, I had no idea that the hours were that long, or like, there's an industry term called fratter days, and it means like you start work at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening on a Friday, and then you work until like 8 or 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. You get off work Saturday morning, and then you have to be back at work on Monday morning at like 4 or 5 a.m. So you hardly get a weekend. And people don't like, I think this.
Can I ask?
So,
Can I
go
ask?
ahead.
Like, is this a? I mean, I assume that people want to work in this field, like they're clamoring to work in this field. Is this a thing where they could like hire more people, and it would kind of solve these grueling hours, or is it a thing where they're like, we don't want to hire or we can't find people, or is it a thing where they just want all of the same people on the set all day every time?
Yeah, I think that because I think that like they don't want the project to go through so many hands, because it starts getting like disconjointed. The more people that touch it or are involved, like the more kind of, nonsensical it gets, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, I guess more people might solve the problem, but I think the real answer is that the crew members are seen as like disposable. So they don't care if they work us 18 hours and then send us to drive an hour home on the highways. They don't care. So I think it's just maybe a lack of humanity more than anything.
Right. That's also a good point. Like where it's like on a movie set, there's probably this crazy hierarchy where like the people that are actually on the crew are looked at as like way less important because they're not in front of the camera and they're not like really like kind of directing it. But I mean, they're doing the work. I mean, arguably the most work, I would say. Well, not arguably, they're doing the most work. Cause I mean, if you're the director, or if you're maybe not like, let's say you're the director, right? Which is probably the guy that runs everything or the person that runs everything. You don't care to be there for 16 hours. It's the same thing with me. It's like I can podcast for 3 hours. Like it's not a big deal. It's whether other people want to be tied up in what I'm doing, because people that are just doing it for a job or for a living, like you got to give them time off. They have to fucking be able to relax. It's 16-hour days for something as trivial as a fucking movie. Like, listen, we used to say this a lot about 24-hour grocery stores and shit like that. Or like same day shipping or 1-day shipping with Amazon. It's like, it's an unrealistic expectation to be able to have that forever. And it sounds to me like the film industry is the same way. They have an unrealistic expectation for how long it should take to make a movie that like nobody would notice if they just took a little more time. The audience wouldn't notice. Especially now, you have this fucking golden opportunity where there's so many fucking movies in the can that weren't able to be released when the movies weren't open. You have a golden opportunity to readjust the expectation for the amount of time it takes to make a movie without anybody on the outside ever noticing. And they make less movies now than they have at any other fucking time anyway. It's like one movie a week comes out, it feels like.
Yeah, and I also like totally believe that, too many options is not good. Like, when you're looking at a menu at a restaurant and there's like 10 pages, you can't decide what you want. Like every time I'm on Netflix, I just scroll for an hour and never actually pick anything to watch because there's just too much content now. And I think people would appreciate it if there was just better content instead of lots of it.
You're totally right about that too, because it is a thing where like I was listening to something or reading something last week that talked about how Netflix releases 10 hours of content. Like they release a television series that is 10 episodes, 10 hours of content. And by the end of the first week, it's old news and it gets lost on Netflix. because they release another 10 hours of content the next week. There's like, and you're probably right too, because you hear so much about how content is king or whatever, where it's like, well, we have all these streaming services and they have to have a certain library. And not only do they have to have a certain library, but now they have to have original content. It can't be old movies or older movies that, first of all, we don't even have access to everything. There's so much stuff that people want to watch that you can't fucking get on any of the streaming services anyway. But like, they're just cranking out new stuff and they're grinding people up in order to crank that out. Somebody in a chat just said they could grind up humans to get this done, like as a you know, a joke or whatever. And then I immediately 1 minute later said that grind up people to get it done. So I wish I could see who said that, but I just like stole your thing.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a challenge to give somebody that much time off for a weekend. Seems like, can you do anything enjoyable in the next 36 hours that you have off? Can you manage to have any sort of a life?
No.
I mean, it's really why.
No,
I mean,
and
it's just, there's just tons of people in charge of this too. There's people that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and there's a whole group of adults that are saying it's okay to run people 16 hours a day, which is should be, I'm just outlawed. Like it gives me no hope for anything that other people would allow somebody else to work that many hours in a week. It's completely fucking ridiculous. And nobody works good under those conditions or should expect to be treated that way. I don't know. It drives me nuts.
You're working 16 hours a day to, like, somebody in a chat said, grind out like the 400th episode of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Or something like that, where it's like, it's just, I really.
You're doing like a Nicolas Cage movie that goes straight to Netflix.
Yeah.
Like something that he did for like a car.
Yeah. Yeah. So is there anything that people can do to help? Is there like a strike fund, or like, should we send emails or a petition or anything like that? Is there anything that we can do to help?
Yeah, so I have a link to a petition that IATSE set up, and maybe I can just share it in the chat. And we're voting on Friday whether or not we strike. And so I guess I just wanted to kind of like raise awareness to it, to like the working conditions of this industry, and encourage like anybody in your audience who is in IATSE to vote yes on the strike, because if we vote no, then they're going to take away like everything that we have, and well, it's like no point in even having a union if we vote against the strike. So I just wanted to call in and say those things.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I like that attitude too. It's like voting or striking is probably very scary. I've never been in a position to strike, and I would really love, I hope it's brave to do, and it's cool that you're for it. And Cat Goiter in a chat said cancel streaming. We don't have to do that now. Come on, what would I do?
I was gonna say there's one more thing that I have to ask, and if we vote yes to authorize a strike, it doesn't mean that we will strike. It just means that we can go to the lawyers and be like, hey, we can strike at any moment if you don't agree to negotiate with us. But if we do actually go on strike, I'm going to be asking all of my friends and family to cancel their streaming services until the strike is over. And if everybody cancels their streaming services, it may only be a week. Yeah, the more people that do it, the faster we can wrap this up. Because nobody wants to strike. It's like the worst case, last scenario. But
yeah, I can cancel that shit, no problem. I got the library.
That's going to take me so long to cancel.
Yeah, I figured.
I have like 87 of them. But I'm with you. I'll do it if you strike. If you strike, I I will cancel everything, and my family will hate me for it, but I will cancel everything.
They'll no, you just have to explain to them why, and they'll understand.
Yeah, it worked real good with Sabra hummus, where I became the least fun guy in the world, and that's just hummus. Well, good luck, power to the IATSE union, and you know, I hope it all works out. And thank you for calling. I was hoping somebody would call with that.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a good
night,
one.
you guys. Bye.
Damn. Yeah, that strike. I've been seeing stuff about it, and I do sort of feel like you start thinking about that unrealistic when we talk about unrealistic expectations, like it's fucking not even, it's not a thing where like they're creating this really vital high art and shit. They're making the Loki TV show. You know?
Yeah.
Like, let people have a fucking life.
I mean, video games are the same way. I mean, the amount of abuse that people take to get these things done. I don't know who's asking for it. You know, I guess, I mean, when I look at consumers, they're awful pieces of shit if I read comments and stuff, but I don't know if people actually feel that way. I don't think people would mind finding out that someone that made their movies wasn't working 16 hours a day. But then I don't have any faith in humanity anymore. I mean, there's just like, people expect this stuff. People expect someone to be grateful to get paid nothing to work 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. It's like, well, at least you don't work at Dollar General like I do, or whatever it is.
I mean, 16 hours is so fucking long.
Unacceptable.
Though,
I mean, there's just not even exist. I mean, that it's just like, it breaks my heart. It makes me want to push the button that would end everything. Just knowing that people would ask someone to work 16 hours. That's totally fucking unacceptable.
Yeah. And it 16 hours is like, you can't even get the amount of sleep that they recommend that people get. I know that most people aren't getting 8 hours of sleep. I just feel like there should be at least a veneer in this fucking shitty ass world that people are given the opportunity to get 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I mean, 40 ain't enough. 40 is too much already. 40 is stressful. Yeah. A 40-hour week stresses you the fuck out, and you need a lot of time to recover from that shit. We're already overworked.
Right. 40 hours is still like, you get to come home and have like 4 hours before you have to start. 4 is, you know, it's probably closer to 3. You get to come home and have 3 hours where you don't start thinking about going to bed so that you could be ready for work the next day. You know, you get off at fucking 4 or 5. Let's say you get off at 5. You end up coming back in, like you have to be basically set up to go to bed at 9, just like getting ready so that I'm not saying people go to bed at 9, but I mean, you got to be winding down at 9.
No, I mean, they
8 hours.
They berate us with information all the time. It's like, you should have a 90-minute bedtime routine where you make a sleepy time tea and sniff some fucking eucalyptus and cover up all the blue lights and set the temperature and do a little yoga pose thing. And like, just to, and if you aren't capable of doing this, and like, you're garbage.
Right.
If you rebel against bedtime, you're garbage. You're just like a reckless person.
Or you're just gonna die young. That's the way what they really do. They're just like, if you want to live to be 70, you have to fucking get 8 hours of sleep. And you're like, when? I mean, I am the only person in my life that gets 8 hours of sleep a day.
Oh yeah.
At least. I don't know anybody else that gets that amount of sleep. And I can only do it because I fucking have a job where I don't have to wake up to an alarm. I didn't get 8 hours of sleep for the first, 18 years of my adult life. I didn't come close.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same. It's that's the choice there. But I also, there's people I'm like, oh, I didn't get very good sleep, and they're like, oh, that sucks, so sorry. I'm like, no, don't worry about me. I can also take a 3-hour nap if I want.
Yeah, I can wake up. I can go down and come up when I want to, and you know, I think that is the top benefit to our job. Of all the cool things about our job, traveling, you know, seeing people, having fans, getting free stuff in the mail, getting to go to shows and know really cool people. The best thing to me is that I go to sleep when I want to go to sleep, and I wake up when it's time to wake, when my body naturally wakes up. And like, that is how everybody could have that. Everybody in this fucking world could have that.
It should, yeah.
Because
it would make our lives easier. It would make all of our lives, like, this is what I've always said. Like, the selfishness that drives my communism is that if you are treated better, you will not fucking bother me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to be a problem to me. Like, you're not going to disrupt me because you're like burnt out on 16-hour days, and all of a sudden I have to walk past you in a place or have a weird interaction, or, you know, someone that's on their second or third gig for the week and stretched to the fucking limit, and all of a sudden I'm an asshole for showing up and trying to get food, you know?
Yeah. I mean, people
the crime, all of it, everything.
And I know a lot of people that do real jobs for a living, like regular ass jobs for a living, that on the weekends they still get up at 8-9 o'clock. Like, they would get to work at roughly the same time if they were just allowed to come to work when they woke up.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be a fucking thing where like everybody would start sleeping until noon or 1 o'clock. There's only only certain people. It's like, just everybody,
we need to respect
different. Yeah, everybody's fucking totally different. Like, I go to bed around 2 and get up around 11, and like, that seems perfect to me. But other people go to bed at 11 and get up at 8. It just is. People just have their way of doing things, and I wish everybody could just do it.
I mean, it's pretty much, the problem is that we force everyone into 9 to 5 without acknowledging that there's like so many of us that like do not fit into that at all. So, you know,
you're looked at as fucking lazy.
Yes.
If you don't fit into that. That's the thing that really pisses me off, is that it's like, if I get up at 10:30, 11 o'clock, like, my in-laws will be like, oh God, Brian's so fucking lazy. And it's like, I don't go to bed till like 3. And I don't, why should I have to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning? Like, why I don't want to. I never liked it. I hated it when I was working. And like, I just think that like, you could time shift. If my wife used to have this thing called flex time, where you could come in between like 8 and 10, and like, why can't it even just be like that at most places? I don't understand the 9 to 5 thing, and I fucking hate it.
Yeah, it's leftover bullshit. All right, let's get some calls.
Right.
Sorry. It's building up.
No, get a call.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Andrew Hillary, the ice cream man. How you doing?
Mr.
Great.
Ice
How are
Cream
you?
Man.
We met Andrew in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that show was fun. Had a good time.
Oh, thank you. We had a lot of fun too. It was that was a really fun show. Made us want to go back out on the road, which was not a thing before that show.
Yeah. After your Columbus show, the way you guys were talking about it, I was like, "Fuck, they're gonna cancel the Pittsburgh show." Because I like just got Indians like around the time that you came here pre-pandemic. I don't even remember, a couple years ago, whatever. And I was like, I'll catch them next time. And then fucking pandemic hit. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. So what's up, Andrew?
Not much. I wasn't planning on calling, but I saw your tweet. So I wanted to call because you remember a couple weeks ago, you guys were talking about metrics and like quotas and shit through jobs?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was thinking about this, and like the way that the ice cream truck works, like I have very similar stories to like Amazon drivers, like pissing in bottles and like scrambling around, like never having a moment off. But like the thing is that with the ice cream truck, like I get paid a portion of my sales, so like there's incentive to piss in bottles, and it's just like, I mean, I know that like obviously these big companies can't structure their workers' pay like that, but like, I mean, if you want people not to be mad about pissing in bottles, just pay them per package delivered. They will not complain about it, you know?
Yeah, that was when I did bikes. When I did bikes for Walmart, it was piecework. So some bikes, like a kid's bike, you'd only get $3 for them, but they only required like a few screws and stuff. And the bikes were pretty poorly made, so you'd have to sometimes get some shit out for extra work. But I would be able to do like 6 or 7 of them. I could do them in 5 minutes, if there was a good stack of them. And I was really like, I wasn't worried about peeing or eating or doing anything. I was worried about putting bikes together to stack up the most dollars for the day. And I felt like I made more per hour than I would have taken if they would have paid me $12 an hour. I wouldn't have felt as good as like I put together 100 fucking bicycles. That's $300 for the day. Like that's good for me.
Yeah, back at the cable company,
yeah.
I had just been brought on after they got rid of piecework, and oh man, the old guys were so pissed off when they went to hourly because they said piecework is so much fucking better. So Longaberger
used to run on piecework.
Yeah. I think you can do it too. Somebody in the chat said if they paid per package, they'd turn them into gig workers and abuse them more. But I think you could actually if you are delivering packages or if you're selling something, you should get a piece of everyone that you deliver. That doesn't mean you can't get paid hourly or whatever. I think for each piece you do, you should get a little piece of it. It shouldn't all just go to the company and then they get to spread the money out to whoever wants it,
Also, I think, doesn't Amazon already have like gig workers like during like seasonal rushes or whatever? So I'm sure that if there is a way to turn them into gig workers, they'll do it with or without piecemeal pay. Like, I'm sure they're already
Amazon
working
Flex.
on that.
Amazon Flex is a thing.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think the way Amazon works is they subcontract to small business tyrants, and then the small business tyrants do it.
They have an app that will let you use your own car to deliver packages. Like they'll pay you to come pick up a box of packages and go send them out.
Oh, great. Well, that sounds terrific.
It's not good. I mean, it's desperation, really.
Yeah. Well.
Did you did you see that New York? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I just saw today, whenever I was researching for the podcast, apparently New York City Council just passed some fucking protection thing for delivery drivers where there's like minimum pay guarantees and they're guaranteed to be allowed to use the bathrooms at places they're picking up food from. Which is like, how was that already not a thing?
Yeah.
But
you know what I'm thinking about now too?
It'll be exciting to see. What's that?
You know what I'm thinking about right now, guys? I've never peed in a bottle before.
Yeah.
Ever.
Really?
In all my years, I've never pissed in a bottle in my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah. I know. Wow,
here's
it's right.
Tips
you would
ever,
think I'd
if
be
you're ever gonna try it. If you're ever going to try it, here's some tips. 1, use a Gatorade bottle, wider mouth. I mean, I'm not filling the whole bottle or anything like the whole mouth, but you want a little room. 2, don't drop it inside an ice cream truck. I'm not going to tell you how I know that one, but definitely don't do that.
I just don't think I have, peed in very creative ways when I worked for the cable company, but most of the time my creative way of peeing was just opening the passenger door and peeing like nobody could see me. Yeah, you open a passenger door and just pee right on the ground next to the passenger door. That's the best I could do, because I don't know if I could pee in a bottle without making a mess. I feel like it would slip out of my hands. It doesn't seem like something I should be able to do.
And you can't throw it out of a moving window. I tried to throw it out on the highway and let air just like scoops it right out of the bottle and just mists it all over the inside of the car.
Yeah.
You got to slow all the way down to get rid of it.
Yeah, you got to put the lid on and maybe just throw it out of the car window or something. Maybe someday I will pee in a bottle because I always figured, like, if I'm in a traffic jam and I really have to pee, I have thought about like peeing in a bottle. I've even thought about just getting out of the car and peeing on the freeway. But like my wife is like kind of a neat freak, so she doesn't leave bottles in the car at all. So all I have is my water bottle and like, but one of these days, I'm even just for the experience, I guess I should sit down in my front seat and try to pee in a bottle just to see if I can fucking do it, man. Dude, even just in the alley back there.
It's never, dude, you always need like 3 bottles though. Unless you have a 2-liter, you're not safe. Like if you do a 20-ouncer and you like just squeeze your head like against the opening, you just are like, oh shit, it's filling up. I can't stop peeing. And then it goes everywhere.
The big Gatorade bottles that I have, I could probably pull that off, I think. But yeah, that's the other nervous thing I've always had is like, I hate stopping it midstream. Like I feel like if you do that 10 times in your life, you get cancer.
It makes you better at sex, dude.
Stopping midstream?
Yeah, that's like Kegels for guys.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
You gotta go clap, 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 clap. You gotta like keep shutting it off so that it goes it bounces in the water.
It just makes me too nervous to fucking stop midstream.
I'll tell you what, I've done this at least maybe 50 times. I've never filled a Gatorade bottle. I filled a water bottle, like the disposable water bottles. I filled one of those. I've never filled a whole Gatorade bottle. I don't know if bladders are like pretty uniform between people. But I think if you go with the large when you get to this spot on your bucket list, pee in a bottle, go with the Gatorade. I think you'll be all right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the other thing is nobody knows how much they pee. You know, because you're doing it into a turlet. So you don't know like what you can't like visualize the size of bottle that would fit in because it goes into a toilet with other water.
So maybe they should put inside of toilets like a marker with like the level line, and then when you get to like a 12-ounce can, a 20-ounce bottle, you know, a 32, and then a 2-liter.
I mean, that seems like it would be helpful for like truck drivers and ice cream men and cable guys and stuff like that, or people just stuck in traffic, you know. Like I said, I think that condom with like if you're like a driver for a living, you put that condom on and then put a hose on it that runs out like the window of the car, or maybe even like out the bottom of the out of the bottom of the door or something. Like that would be like something worth having for like a long road trip where when you just pee, it just comes out right there on the road, you know, and you don't have to think about it. But nobody's ready to do that.
We're talking like an in-seat bedpan with a hose or something. Like this is a lot.
Yeah, you get it installed in the car. Yeah. Well, no, they used to make those though. Yeah. They used to make like a condom that had a hose on it that you could like whiz. I don't remember how the whizzing worked, but it was like a condom with a hose in it, and you could really, you know, get rid of the whiz. But I'll have to look into that. Maybe I'll post it this week. because yeah, they have like an outside catheter. You just need a way to get it out of the car.
External catheter. All the Baja race guys use that stuff.
There you go. I thought those guys just peed their pants.
It's high tech.
I don't know. If you're out, you're gonna be driving all day. Like, you don't want to be wet like that.
That's true.
I did consider peeing my pants at a mosh pit, but it would just get all over the floor.
And everybody. I know I've been in a pit where somebody shit their pants. I saw Mastodon once, and I am fairly certain somebody really did crap their pants in that Mastodon pit, because it didn't just smell like somebody cut a fart or anything like that. It like full on smelled like the materials
like
came out.
Open air turd.
Yeah, maybe. Here's what I think now, because I've given it thought over the years of why Mastodon was the worst smelling concert I ever went to. And I think maybe somebody like had a small situation in their pants and then just like was like, well, you know, it wasn't a big deal, you know? It was just the smallest situation, like a little tiny wet one. And then he didn't know. I'm sure the guy didn't know what he did. But I don't know, dude, because you would leave a concert if you knew you cracked your pants. And that's what it smelled like. It was vile, is all I'm saying. Unless maybe somebody fucking just had a dog turd in their pocket. They didn't know that didn't know that their dog crapped in like their shoe or something. They just shoved their foot in there and went to the concert. I don't know, but it was wild. I mean, I've been to a lot of metal concerts, a lot. And, you know, everybody knows that by far metal concerts are the stinkiest, but that one was like on a whole other level, Mastodon. So, yeah.
Good to know.
Well, Andrew, thanks for calling. We got to get these callers.
Have you ever been to a folk punk concert? All right, yeah.
No.
Good talking pee-pee and poo-poo with you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
You too, man. Have a good night.
Professional comedian Andrew to talk to us about poo-poo and pee-pee. I just put I put my worst week yet sticker on my computer.
Noise.
Oh, sick.
Noise. I didn't get one, so.
All right,
you know.
My bad. I'll get you next time. Thanks, hey, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, you have a good night too, Andrew.
All right, bye.
Peace.
Let's do another one. Let's take another call.
Okay, let's see who we got here. Oh my God, there's some shit in stories. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
That's good.
Is this me, Jake?
Yeah, what's up, Jake?
Hello?
How's it going? Yeah, we got you.
Hey, it's Jake from Columbus. What's up? Yeah, it's funny you guys were talking about soccer earlier. I got a kind of gruesome soccer sports injury that happened to me today, actually.
Fun.
Oh, okay. What happened?
I ruptured my Achilles.
Yikes. It's like the one weakness you have on your body.
That's true. It's the Achilles heel.
It was, first. Yeah, exactly. It's I was just I knew exactly what happened to you. Supposedly it's supposed to be very painful, but for me it was just like I was playing soccer and it felt like someone threw a ball at my foot, like in my heel. And then I just kind of fell over and was like wondering what was going on, and then it hit me and I knew exactly what happened, and yeah, it was pretty gruesome, but it just happened like 2 hours ago. I'm just like still processing it. It's kind of wild.
Are you in the hospital?
No, I didn't go to the ER because, well, for a couple reasons, I guess. But luckily, a few people on my team are physical therapists, so they were able to like kind of take a look at it and know that like that's what happened.
Shit.
So you tore it, or like you unhooked it?
Yeah. Well, I don't really know. They think because it wasn't painful that it might be like a clean break, which I don't know if that's good or bad. I think it's bad. My girlfriend's mouthing it's bad to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But yeah, I don't really know yet. But it's supposedly for like athletes, like they're out for like a year. Well, I mean, I got a walking boot and crutches, and I'm going tomorrow morning. to an urgent care, orthopedic one.
Damn, you go
So
hard,
I'll be
Jake.
okay. Like I got the what's that?
You go hard, Jake. I mean, I would have been like one. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something first. Nothing hurts
Okay.
like you think it's going to hurt. If you hear a thing is painful, you will like picture a type of pain that I don't think the human body is capable of feeling. The only really painful thing that ever happened to me, and you know, I broke my wrist. I fucked an ankle up a bunch of times. I fucked my ankle up. I actually, when I was a kid, I was at a building and there was these extremely long flights of steps between floors, right? And I was like, I'm gonna fucking jump down this whole flight of steps. And I got almost all the way down there, but like I like my foot landed wrong on one of the steps and just fucking smashed my whole body's weight onto it, and like I fucked my ankle up real bad. But like I have been injured a decent amount of times. I've done things that are supposed to be painful, and the only time I was ever in an amount of pain that I felt was impossible was when I had a kidney stone. Like that was like maybe the most pain I've ever been in my life. So like, I think like it could be anything on your foot. Cause like I said, if you heard that it's painful, then it was probably painful, but you have a high pain threshold like me. It's like,
You
I
consider yourself high pain threshold.
Huge.
I don't think I do though. I've never broken a bone. This is kind of like, I've had some minor muscle injuries before, like pulled a hamstring once, but those didn't really hurt either. But I don't know. I had my funny bone and it hurts like hell, so I don't really know. But like it was just the weirdest thing. It felt like someone like just like flat tired me, stepped on my heel, and I like yelled like, who's fucking with me? What's going on? And then it hit me because I read about I remember Kevin Durant, the Warriors player or former Warriors player. I remember him reading about it and just saying like he just felt the pop, and that hit me. I was like, oh, that's what happened. It popped. Like my calf is not connected to my foot anymore. Like it's just like I had to process that, and I was kind of just like, huh. I mean that's what happened, and I don't know. It's wild. It's just
they're gonna cut you the
injury,
fuck
I guess.
open.
Like for athletes, it takes like. Oh yeah, and for athletes, like they don't play for like over a year. I mean, I'm not like need to get back to like top athletic shape, but I'm just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do for 9 months. It's already like I live on the second floor of an apartment, and just getting up the stairs on crutches was just, oh my god, it's tough.
I gotta say, Jake, though, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put the pain?
Like 3. Like it felt like someone kind of like stepped on me, and not even like a cleat, like just like someone like with a bare foot just kind of like stomped on the back of my heel. So
now let me help you. I got to coach you a little
more about it and see if it's supposed to be. Okay.
I want to coach you a little bit. When they ask you that at the hospitals, it's a 7. You say it's a 7.
Okay.
Because that'll get you some pills. They don't really give a lot of pills anymore, but
yeah, I was thinking about that. I don't know how much I want, or like.
Well, they don't give you a lot anymore anyway. They'll probably give you like 6 of them.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably get those after the surgery. Like, I don't know when they'll operate on it. Like, I don't know when that happens, but.
Yeah, and also like, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, my pain threshold is a 7. Now, my discomfort threshold is a 2. I don't like being uncomfortable, but pain, as you know, the guy said, pain don't hurt, and it just doesn't bother me. So you might be like me, where it's like, oh, it doesn't hurt as bad as I thought it was going to. When I broke my wrist, I didn't go to the hospital until like 5 or 6 hours after I broke my wrist. Cause I was like, there's no way that this is a broken wrist because it doesn't hurt that bad. So, I'm not trying to freak you out or anything.
I mean, I know. Yeah. No. I mean, I luckily my girlfriend's a medical professional too. And I've got some good advice.
Thank God.
I'm not worried about not going to the ER tonight. And I didn't want to yeah, thank God I have her too to help me up the stairs. But, they I didn't want to go to the ER because I figured I'd just be sitting there for 4 hours in a COVID hole of
Good point.
I don't know what the COVID
Good
situation
point. That
is like.
was
I didn't know what I'm in Columbus too, and I was trying to figure out what hospital to go to, and I just I don't know.
Nah,
Luckily,
go to an urgent care.
I know some people through connections, and that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow. Yeah.
Go to one with an X-ray though, because they're gonna have to X-ray. You don't want to get. Yeah, you don't want to get also
full
sent.
MRI, I'm sure, and everything.
Yeah. Well, good luck, man. You have
that's
insurance?
The thing too. I don't know how much. Yeah, thank you. I'm sure I'll call in with after the surgery or something and update you guys. I don't know what the next few months is going to look like, but it's going to be interesting.
You get some time off work, maybe,
Light duty.
Yeah.
Light duty.
I don't know. I've been in the office and now I guess I'll move back to home. So I don't know what'll happen with that, but yeah, I'm not too worried about it yet.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Jake. I hope you feel better.
Yeah, we wish you the best.
Yep. Have fun. Enjoy those pills.
All right, later.
Peace.
Thank you. See ya.
Let's take the next one, Brett. I say the rest of the calls
run
without
keep running it.
Taking a break. Yeah, why the hell not? We started late anyway.
There's pro wrestling to be watched. Oh no, there isn't pro wrestling tonight. I missed the one from Wednesday. Wait, no, I did watch that one.
There's sports entertainment tonight.
Sports entertainment is tonight.
But it's on my TV right now next to me, and it's not very good.
Never is. So. Not worth it. Thanks for calling Street Fight. How you doing tonight? Skelly.
Is this me?
Oh, I thought
you were
dead. I was hoping you were dead.
What's going on tonight? That's not nice. What's up tonight? Who's this?
This is Gabriel in Chicago. How you guys doing?
What's up, Gabriel? Gabriel, we're doing great. What's going on tonight?
Well, not too much. Just hanging out. First time caller, long time listener. I heard you guys wanted to talk to logistics and supply chain professionals. I meant to call them sooner, but just haven't been around on Sundays.
What? When did you got to refresh our memory about why we wanted to do that? Because we don't.
That was a couple of weeks ago, and you were just kind of talking about how you were fascinated with the breakdown and the way people get shit on the shelves, and just you were wanting to ask questions about it. I honestly have a quit story about leaving the industry, but also just open if you guys are curious about finding more about the industry.
Let's do that. I don't remember what we were talking about because I'm a burnout from drugs.
That's quite all right, and you're talking to one right now. But the quit story, I fired my boss about a month and a half ago. So I worked for a logistics broker, basically seeking out freight and buying freight from companies and, handing that off to carrier sales guys to go sell that to truckers and, get products on shelves. And, I was well and good enough about it. And I think the second month on the floor at this job, I'd probably been working about 6 months. I'd pulled a decent amount of revenue in 1 month and, was hoping for a decent commission check. I, just put in a shitload of hours and, end of the month comes and I end up getting, $150 on a commission check when I basically pulled my base in a month. And, I talked to my boss about it. I'm like, what's going on here? I don't really think this is fair compensation for my time. I'm bringing revenue on for the company, yada, yada. And he was like, oh, well, maybe we need to pitch in on, other people's operations and help out. And I was like, look, man, I'm not going to manage books of business throughout the company to make sure that, we're going to make $1, along every, I just want to do my job as a sales guy and go win business. I'm not going to be an operations manager and wear all these hats and do that whole die on this hill for a startup type thing. And he said, well, maybe we need to grow up and learn how to pitch in. And at that point I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to grow up for you or, work another day in this office unless you guys are going to compensate me fairly. But I mean, it's a cutthroat and nasty industry, and I haven't been back since.
Yeah, I mean there's plenty of places like that where I don't know what, it's weird because they will tell you how much money you made for them and how much they love that. But then when you bring it back up and say, hey, I should get some of that money, they're like, no, you didn't understand. I said, I love that. I told you I like that you made me a lot of money. That's what you do for me. What do you mean you want some of it? What do you mean you did some math? I mean, I got fired from a job for doing the same thing. It's like I sold $30,000 worth of stuff this month and you paid me $1,400. You paid me nothing to be here.
Exactly. And I own a truck, and I live in Chicago, not a lot of people that pick up trucks. And I think I worked like 60 hours last month just loaning it out. And I made my base salary at this company, working half the time that I did for them. So,
holy shit.
I mean, at the end of the day, they can get bent. Like, yeah. So they, I listening to the earlier caller who was talking about, maybe people need a little bit less content and a little bit more quality. That's the only thing I could think of working at this desk, just grinding like crazy just so I could get some crappy Amazon Basics thing into a warehouse off of a truck. It's like, do people really need this crap? Like, maybe I should be shipping something worthwhile.
Yeah. I mean, I think I remember now what we were talking about. We were just trying to figure out the question we had was like, are the shortages on shelves, like supply shortages, are those like not enough truck drivers, or like, is it problems with shipping from across the ocean?
It's a multitude of things. We have such a convoluted supply chain at this point that things that are seemingly unrelated are affecting each other. So from cargo ships getting backed up, that affects a factory's ability to make production on time. So, that affects things getting onto shelves. On top of that, you've got people who don't want to drive a truck for $12, $13 an hour and think it's bullshit, so there's a lot of things compounding on our awful system that none of us wanted or none of us built. And, it's really showing. Our supply chain is not really built to be robust in times of crisis. And people love cutting corners. People love doing that lowest common denominator, bottom line's the dollar sign. And when push comes to shove and shits get serious, you can't cut corners as easily. And the only corner left to cut is not getting it on the shelf.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because I've been wondering why I can't get Gatorade Zero at the grocery store anymore for cheap. But yeah, that's I think where we were
I just paid $850 for truck tires. It's ridiculous.
Jesus criminy. That's too much. Well, yeah, that's wild, Gabriel. I love it when people talk about how much they made, like when they get fired for saying that they made the company this much money but only got paid this amount of money. It is the best way to get fired, other than like I kicked my boss in the dick and like shit on his desk. Like that's like it's a close second to that. But
I mean, I definitely wanted to kick him in the dick and shit on his desk when he told me to grow up, but
Oh, grow up. We don't pay people shit, okay? Well,
right. Yeah. I definitely just wanted to call in and give you a preview for the logistics industry. I love what you guys do. Keep fighting the good fight.
All right. Thanks, Gabriel. Have a good night.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Later, boys.
Been listening to the Grease Man. Have a good night.
Is that what he says?
He ends things like that. He's like, hello. Hello.
Love it.
Waddle doodle. He says bone dry when he's out of his drink. You know?
Uh-huh. Okay.
Grease Manelli, he calls himself sometime. It's not a good show. You would be like, this guy, there's no way this guy's racist because he's like just corny, but he's been fired like 3 times for racism. Like actual racism, not like for saying very racist things on the radio. And you got to think about that in context of like what the other shock jocks were doing on the radio. You know?
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, that's what they I mean, there is now it seems more dog whistly, and it definitely is racism, but they have been backed into a corner more than what they did before.
Yes, for sure. So yeah, I mean, while we're talking about it, Shocktober this Thursday, Opie and Anthony, and every week after that for a while, you're gonna get your new Shocktobies, and
It's coming.
There will be a Grease Man one, bone dry.
People are asking for Grease Man.
I know. I can't believe people want the Grease Man, and I think it's also kind of rude that they want the Grease Man. To tell you the truth, like, I mean, why make it a crappy one? This is like when my buddy MRT Chris got me to do Imus by I had kept saying like Imus doesn't have a big enough archive online, and he was like, oh dude, I found a bunch of Imus.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh okay, well how bad can it be? And then it sucked. So
yeah, not fun.
Let's take another call.
All right. Thanks for
Bone
calling
dry.
Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, this is Bear from Georgia.
Bear, what's up?
Bear.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Pretty tired. Just got off of a long shift at Chili's, but not too bad.
How many hours?
It was only like 10 hours, so it's not like super long in comparison to other jobs I've worked, but it's still like really rough.
10 hours out of Chili's. Like, even if that sounds like a radio competition. Like, who can spend 10 hours out of Chili? That's hard to do.
Feels like it.
Man. Dude, if we had like the corporate sponsorship stuff, Brett,
Uh-huh.
I mean, that would be our contest, right? Like you get a Chili's and then like 4 of our listeners have to work at a Chili's, and whoever makes it to the end of the day wins.
Yeah, not
like
easy.
A Chili's in like Trump country, like
Mm.
where there are like just like the demographics skew older.
Yes.
That's a good contest. I wish we could pull that off. So how's Chili's going, Bear?
There's something just deceptive about the way the time flows inside Chili's. Because like I'll clock in and I don't know if it's because we're busy or if it's because there's always like so much that managers are like yelling to do, but you walk in and you feel like you've been there for 5 minutes, and you walk back out and you realize that you were there all day, and you feel like super sick, and you're like, oh man, I must be catching a cold. But no, you're just like that tired and overworked by the end of it.
Fuck
yeah.
Holy shit.
See, but in my earlier days, I did have like not an addiction, I guess, just going to a place that's absolutely off the wall calamity all the time, and then it's 8 hours later is to me more interesting than trying to fight and pretend that you're working for 8 hours a day when you're only doing 90 minutes of work a day. Going back to the conversation earlier, like thinking about folding clothes all day, which I was really good at, but it didn't pay enough for me to do. But it was something that I could repeat over and over again. And there were boxes there and I didn't have to ask anything. If there was boxes, I folded the clothes. So there was nothing else besides doing the job. And the same with like some of these serving environments, like you just get lost, do the job. It's poorly managed and not fun, but it does pass the time faster than trying to pretend you're not on social media all day in front of a computer.
That's a good point. I always felt that way too, like where it was like I didn't like having to figure out how to convince some fucking guy that I worked 8 hours during the day.
Yeah.
Because that was always what it was. It would
That's
be
a great
like,
way to put it.
yeah, you just the whole job at a lot of places is just convincing somebody that you worked for 8 hours instead of like actually doing the work. You're like sitting around. Like I used to sit in my van. So they didn't have GPS on the cable trucks. So like they couldn't monitor where you were, but they thought this was the way to fix it. On the work orders and 2 boxes, one that says time in and time out of the job. So at the end of the day, I would just have to sit in my van and try to cobble together what the 8 hours was that I did the jobs. No matter how many jobs, it's like if you gave me 4 jobs, all my jobs took 2 hours. If you gave me 8 jobs, all my jobs took a half hour. It didn't fucking matter. But you had to write time in and time out of each job. And then you could leave yourself about an hour in there for driving. And like that was most of my job, dude. It was like mostly explaining to my boss that I worked 8 hours today. You got all of your time out of me. But I mean, Chili's is chaos though. Chili's is as a place. Like, how busy are you? Really busy now? Like, I guess it could go either way. I guess are there TVs at Chili's?
So yeah, there are TVs like all over the Chili's, but they're placed in ways that if you're not sitting at a table, you cannot see them easily, right? Like the angles that they put the TVs at, you can't really see them while you're standing for the express purpose of making sure that we don't just stand around and watch TV.
I mean, but so is Sunday like a tough day because of football? Is it like a big football day?
So it's not necessarily a big like full day. It's not necessarily like super busy, but because we're in like the Bible Belt, like if you work the morning shift, you get absolutely fucked over because there's just so many people rushing in.
True. I mean, the thing about it is when I give it some thought, it's like I can't imagine. And now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being elitist scum. I don't live near a Chili's. Okay. And I'm just saying that right now. I can't imagine that people take dates to Chili's.
What?
But also,
you are elitist scum.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be
Listen,
mean to
some of
Chili's.
us-
I would go to fucking Chili's.
You're bad
I
at
want
dating,
their baby
dude.
back ribs. I love their baby back ribs. But I would, if I was dating, like if I had to take the wife out now, I would try to go to like a cool, like, hey man, have you heard of this place? You know, like,
You do have to take her out. Just because you captured her into a contract doesn't mean you don't have to take her out no more.
right. But now me and her are just like, what do you want? And we figure it out together. I'm talking about if I had to take her somewhere like we're meeting for the first time and we're going out to dinner. I just don't think I would go to Chili's.
It's a good signal. It says don't expect much. I have a lot more to offer than where I can take you, but it's not spending money on things that are outrageous. It's about like solid dinners. Sometimes we just hit the Chili's, I'll take you for something special, but right now I got $65 in my account. Okay. So we need to go to Chili's.
Now I'm being made fun of, by the way. Listen to this. Bad Dab in the chat said taking the wife to a hipster coffee shop.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I'm saying. And Daytona Worker said Brian is classy. Probably takes him to Red Lobster or something. Also, I wouldn't. First of all, I would never take my wife to Red Lobster because she used to work at Red Lobster. And I mean, maybe she would like the Cheddar Bay biscuits, but she's not real fond of Red Lobster. And I don't eat seafood mostly. So I one time went to Red Lobster when I was a little kid. I ordered chicken nuggets. My parents like kind of pulled the waiter aside and said he wants fish nuggets.
What?
Instead. Yeah, well, they didn't want me to eat chicken at Red Lobster. My parents are like that, dude. It's just like when I was a kid and I would put ketchup on a steak, they would get all fucking like, you're putting ketchup on a steak? And it's like, yeah, man, I like ketchup. I'm fucking 13.
Yeah, they sent you to the finest finishing schools and you don't even know what a salad fork is.
So they didn't want me to eat chicken nuggets at Red Lobster. So they got me fish nuggets. They like kind of switched my order. They didn't like pull the waiter aside. They were like, I was like, I'll have chicken nuggets. And they were like, he'll have fish nuggets. Like, you're eating fish here. And I took the one bite out of it. And like, they fucked it up because like I took that bite and I never ate a fish stick again. I was just like, fish sticks are disgusting. Like, why would I ever have this? And it was really just that shock. It's like the reason I won't ride roller coasters. Because like I thought I was going to a haunted house at Kings Island. I was with my aunt, my cool aunt. And I thought I was going into a haunted house and I really liked Scooby-Doo a lot. Like I was like the world's biggest Scooby-Doo fan when I was like little. And there was a Scooby-Doo like cutout. It looked really cool. And I thought it was just like a dark ride is what they call them, right? They're like the rides at the park where you sit in a little thing and it takes you around and things jump out at you or whatever like that. That was like, so I thought I was getting on a dark ride. And it was the Beastie, the roller coaster that's like not the Beast, but it's like the kids version of the Beast, but it's still kind of high.
Yeah.
And they put me on the Beast. It scared me. I cried and then haven't ridden a roller coaster since.
That's not their fault though. That's your fault.
No, they should have told me it was a roller coaster. They didn't tell me it was a roller coaster. I told them I was fucking afraid of roller coasters, and they thought it was funny that I was trying to get on a roller coaster. So they were like, let's take them on the roller coaster. And I didn't really know till I was getting in it. I was like 7 or something.
Yeah, you're using that as an excuse though. You know now that it's a goddamn amusement ride.
Yeah. Well, I know now. And then also, my parents. Go ahead, Bear.
My parents tried to pull that same thing one time, and then they found out like that same day that I had really low blood pressure. It's just like a problem that I have, and I can't really go on roller coasters because of it. So I'm just like some little kid who's like screaming in terror, and then suddenly I just like don't say anything at all, and they're like, "Oh no, something happened to the kid."
You passed out?
I don't know.
Yeah, I passed out, and then I woke back up like a few minutes afterwards, and like my parents didn't know what to do about it. They were like, well, maybe he just got really scared and like fainted. So they just kind of walked around with me and like tried to take me to the nearest like nursing spot because they're like, what the hell do we do about a like passed out kid? Because like I still had a heartbeat and I was breathing and stuff. So I knew I was like dead, but they were still like, what do we do about this?
Yeah, my dad loves roller coasters. My dad's like a roller coaster guy. I know, Brett, you probably wouldn't think he would be having met him, but he is. He loves roller coasters. He likes the scary ones. Scarier the better. And like I think like it was always just kind of a bummer to him that he would take me to the amusement park and I wouldn't ride any of the roller coasters because I was just scared of them or whatever. But I love going to amusement parks. I think they're like incredibly fun, cool places, and I always have a really good time standing in line with my friends. And then when you get to the roller coaster, I just walk over the track and go out the exit. And you know what? 2.5 minutes later, my friends are back. It's great. But I like the vibe of amusement parks. So it's good vibes at those places.
All right.
So we do amusement parks the same way. Like my friends and especially my parents will always try to like schedule trips to amusement parks because I guess they just like forget. So like I just end up walking around doing like little carnival stands and like some of the smaller rides and stuff and having a real good time doing like basically nothing all day.
I love carnival games too. I'm like into carnival games. I know you can't win them most of the time, but like, man, does it feel good to win? So yeah, nothing wrong with the carnival game. I love them. All right, Bear. Good luck at Chili's. I hope it goes famously, and have a great night.
Hey, before I leave real fast, just as a question,
Okay.
do you guys mind like regular weekly call-ins? Because I got like a ton of great street fight stories that like I'm ready to share. I just don't know like if it gets annoying or overbearing on you guys or the audience or anything like that.
Bear, we love you. You can call every single week. You're a good caller, and we like having callers.
Yeah.
And we like to know some of the callers. We've had like weekly callers at different times. They just probably are self-conscious and don't feel like they want to be annoying or something, but we still hear from them sometimes. But you've gotten to the point now where if you don't call for 2 or 3 weeks, me and Brett are going to be like, man, I wonder what happened to Bear.
They're mad at us. I mean, I guess I'll lash out on you out of nowhere if it becomes a problem. I'll just lash out against you and hang up on you. Sorry, but that's just how it'll go.
You're not annoying though, Bear. We like you.
Awesome. Amazing.
All right,
I'm going to be honest. If I get lashed out against and like hung up on, that's a good story. So yeah, you guys too. Love you guys.
You call back the next week and be like, man, you know how I felt when Brett lashed out at me and hung up on me, and we'll talk about it.
I'll have an apology ready.
And for people who Brett slashed out at and yelled at and hung up on, he does that to me too, except for he doesn't hang up on me because he can't. But Brett lashes out at everybody. Don't take it personal. Everybody in the world. He's a lashy outy guy.
It's when it gets to the point of I actually like you. Strangers, I give the longest leash ever. Whenever I like you, then I start to hate you.
It's true. That's true. And that's just because to know me is to hate me, or to know people really is to hate people. Quite, because you will I love Bear. I think Bear's great. Probably like Bear than most of my real life friends.
Right. Because you don't have to do other stuff.
No baggage from
no intimate stuff involved.
Yeah. Bear doesn't have memories about me from when I was a piece of human shit.
Yeah,
thanks for
you get the
calling,
quick and
Bear.
easy route of me just like loving you blindly.
I love that though. If there's one thing everybody knows about me is that I love to be loved.
Yeah, this is easy as loving goes for me.
Yeah. All right, have a good night, Bear.
You too.
Peace.
We got a little bit of delay going. We got the last call here.
Let's take this call and go watch a TV show or something. I don't fucking know.
TV program. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hello.
Hello. Who are we talking to tonight?
Is this on?
Yep, this is you.
Mike.
You're the only person on the line. What's up, Mike? How's it going?
Wow. Cool. Good. Not necessarily a long time listener, but definitely have watched your show a couple of times.
Nice. Okay. All right. So what's up?
Not much really. I mean, I just got back from Lowe's. Well, not just got back, but like a couple of hours ago.
Nice. Okay. Well, it said you wanted to talk about general politics. Did you like have a question or what's up?
Yeah, I guess I got nervous a little bit, and like you kind of trailed off away from that or whatever. So I guess like I don't know. I mean,
Oh,
like
you can go back.
what was it? Huh?
You can go back. It's okay.
What's that now?
You can back to it. It's okay. I mean, the show is one continuous piece. So anything from earlier you can talk about.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. Like, what were you mentioning about Walmart for exactly? I forgot about that a little bit.
Walmart. Oh,
You know what? I just
oh,
hung up. I just
affirm.
hung up on it. I don't want to redo the show. I'm just gonna hang up on them. This is a good reason to hang up on somebody that hasn't been listening. And I don't want to. I mean, you have something to say when you call in. We'd love to hear it. But I'm not gonna redo the show.
All right. Well, that is the show. We're done with the show. Just lashed out at a guy.
Yeah, it seemed like I didn't want to, but I just don't want. I don't know what the point of that was. Thanks for listening to Street Fight. If you have something to call in about, we'd love to talk to you. Just you're in charge of the conversation. We're here with you. We will see you on Wednesday night. And we'll be doing the show again as usual on all of the live stream stuff. So we'll see you then.